What's going on? So I know that I said that I wasn't going to stream today, but I got off work early and I really wanted to kind of show my process or progress on this song, because I feel like I got it at a pretty decent spot to kind of show the people on YouTube and show you guys as well. And so that's why I'm here. So this may be a shorter stream, but yes, please. So I'll just kind of play it just so you guys can hear it. So for those of you who were here yesterday, kind of seeing that I threw some vocals on this song, and I was kind of messing with the timing of things. And if you didn't see that video, then it is definitely on my YouTube channel, so you could go ahead and check that out. I think there's some really good information there, and kind of goes to show you that, you know, if you don't have any sort of singers or your friends that you know, blah, 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 then there's a lot of samples out there, sample websites out there, especially like Splice, that have, you know, a lot of cool little ad-libs and verses and choruses and stuff like that you can piece together to then, you know, give more life to your song, so you can kind of see, you know, what it's going to sound like with the singer on it, or even, you know, utilizing those samples. It's a really cool way to be able to do that without again having to worry about trying to find a singer, waiting for a singer to put vocals on a track, and, you know, hoping that it comes back the way that you like it, blah, 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 you know. This way you can kind of just put it together, you know, and have it sound the way that you want. Again, if you are impatient like me with wanting to put singing and stuff on it, because the way that I write music, it's really based around vocals, you know what I mean? And it's like, I want to know what it sounds like right away. And so why not find some samples to put it in there? And I really have to give credit. I can't say this enough. I really have to give credit to Empyrean Audio in our Discord group, and one of our fellow homies in the chat. What's going on, homies? For just giving me this idea. At the end of my stream, usually when I have time, I'll do community jams, and it's all of the homies in the Discord showing off the cool things that they've been up to, their work in progresses and stuff like that. However, Empyrean, he showed something that he worked on, and it had vocals on it. I was like, dude, who did that for you? And it was like, they're samples. And I was like, oh my gosh, no way. I got to try this. And I tried it, and here it is. And I told you guys, when I learn things, then you're going to learn things. And so this is kind of a learning process for me. So this is going to be kind of an ongoing thing, hopefully. So I'll just kind of show you what it sounds like.
I could have been you.
looping. Fixed it. Okay, so as you can see, oh, we got a new follower. Ghastly Shimmer, what's going on? Travis, what's going on? Colin, what's going on? Ghost, what's going on? Cleo, what's going on? Hazel, what's going on? Sorry, kind of wanted to get the YouTube intro out of the way, type of thing. And also Brett over on YouTube, what's going on? Ghastly, I see that you transferred over. Thank you for the follow, my friend. Appreciate you. There, look, the man himself. This the guy I was talking about. But I pals did a little work on the jam using sampled vocals today because I found some sick samples. Ooh, that's awesome, dude. Exactly what we're talking about today. I also did some work last night. So, Colin, to answer your question, I basically redid this. So the same thing that I was doing yesterday in Melodyne, I did it in, I basically took the original one again, put it in there again, and really just kind of took my time to finagle the timings and stuff like that, you know, to get it to the best that I thought that I could, to where it sounded the best. So you could see it's a lot better aligned and stuff like that. But what you can see here is I didn't really touch, I still kept the original vocal on the chorus because I really liked what it was doing. And I feel like it didn't lose that much, you know what I mean? And so that's kind of why I went about doing that. Let me think what else. The other thing that I did was I blended things a lot more, and then tried to add some of those the oohs and ahs, which I think really helped out. I think I also redid what I was doing in the processing phase of the vocals, and so you'll be able to see this is the start of the vocals here, which that I still consider this not really complete. Like I've been bouncing up and down with the levels in terms of where I want that vocal to sit. However, towards the end of the night, I was just kind of like, okay, my ears are probably shot. I'm just going to kind of give it a break and listen in the morning. Well, I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, I was like scared to listen to it because I was like, oh gosh, did I did I kind of like go too far with it in terms of mixing? Because tell me if this has happened to you. You mix something out before bed and you tweak something and you render it and you go do what you have to do to get ready for bed. And then you come back, it's done. So you throw in your headphones and you just listen and you're like, bass is too loud, dude. Bass is too loud, you know? And so I did that like twice last night. And it got so far as like I rendered it out, got done. Like the render got done and I closed Ableton and I listened back I reopened Ableton because there was something that was still too loud. And so just know that if you do that, sounds like Empyrean does it as well. You're not alone. It happens to the best of us. But I think you get to a point where you're just like, okay, we're just going to call it right here for now. And then again, like I said, I listened to it in the morning and I was like, it's not as bad as I thought. You know, for me, it just sounded like the vocals in the chorus were a little too quiet. And so, I've been messing with that. But to get back to this EQ, I have a little bit of Pro C in there. I used the control preset and then tweaked it a little bit. CLA, I just stacked them. I stacked compressors. And to be honest with you, I was kind of tweaking like the order of these right before stream just to kind of hear what it does. And this is where I landed right now. This may change tonight, tomorrow, but I would say that you should experiment with, where you put your gain stages in terms of like your compression and stuff like that, just to see what it sounds like, if it sounds better or whatever. Another thing is Soothe. Female vocals, full range, and then I tweak this a little bit more. And then I use this delta to kind of like dial it in. The other thing that I did was a DS here. I think, yeah, female split band, and I just messed with the threshold because I think it starts like way over here, and I just have it here. And then I have some wider going on, 20%. I was experimenting with this, and I felt like this really helped the vocals come out a little bit more, but like blend with the what's going on. And so that's why I did that. And then kind of messed with this. Now, this was a lot of experimentation, this automation. And so to be honest, I can probably just use the same volume throughout. But this is just me again experimenting. All of this is purely experimentation. Like you can see, like I didn't move this a ton in terms of the chorus too, and like the verses. These I kind of messed around with. Try not to pay attention to this, but and this is again why there's so many dots is because of so much experimentation and just lifting things, bringing them up and down by holding shift on these bars here, and so. Other things that I tweaked was where the kick was. So the reason why I got this stuff, and this is not really anything too crazy, but the reason or the way that I got to this volume and this bass volume was I was being against like I think it was a Spiritbox song just to kind of like because this sounds so similar to Courtney that I was just like, let's just see if we can get it close to that, like a mix that's kind of close to that. And so, I was listening in my headphones to their mix, giving it a good second, just really trying to ingrain it in my brain, and then I would switch over to my mix. And what I did too was like my mix is a lot louder, which is, Spotify likes to bring things down a lot lower. I think it's -14 according to this. And so I usually export things out to CD LUFS, and then, I'll let DistroKid do its things, which I told was probably the best way to go about doing that. And so what I did was I actually level matched it with the Spotify version. And then that's when I A-beat it just to match the low end, hear how the mids are, where are the guitars at, where is Courtney at, there was a lot of it too, which I'm surprised that I didn't, actually I did do, now that I think about it, because I'm just thinking about it in a different way. One of Colin's great recommendations that I can't not have anymore, is the Phantom Center. So this thing helped me a lot to give room to the vocals. And again, if you've been here for a while, then you know that I keep talking about this. Looks like I didn't put it in the cleans, but I probably could, and I probably should. That could probably help me out a lot more. So this sample was very like it was just really in the way. You can see I was like messing around with it. Well, it doesn't really. Oh, it's actually. think it's on here. Yeah, like look at this. This is me like, this it's really in the way, blah blah blah, you know. And so I was experimenting with that, and what's crazy is like it being this low still, you still could hear it pretty good. However, I brought it out of the center, um, pretty good amount, just again to give room to that vocal. These little peaks here that you're seeing are just kind of like when it breaks in that chorus. I didn't put center in the ARP. I probably should, and I probably could. But I did do phantom, and I could probably switch these. But phantom, it's literally this mix knob here, and it's crazy how much it helps. And what's cool is it's like for me, it's not that noticeable. Like I can't really notice that huge of a difference, which is great because the only difference that I want to hear is like I can hear my snare more, I can hear the vocals more. You know, like they're not getting pushed around. They're settling in real nice because I left this pocket for them. And I'm always talking about the pocket. And what's so cool about being able to do this now, thanks to Empyrean Audio, is like now I can show you that like having vocals in a track, it's really going to change the perspective of what these things do. Like, to be honest, a lot of these things, like the lead guitar stuff, it's not a huge deal. You know what I mean? Like if you delete, if you muted it, you're not going to miss it. And so, you know, these are just accents for the vocals. And so I think that's another thing that I can kind of say. And, I think people may agree with me, is try not to get married to parts, especially if you have a vocalist. Because as soon as the vocalist comes in, unless they're writing with you, which, you know, this will be sorted out during that process. But if you have a vocalist coming in after to put something on top, don't be married to your parts, man. Not until they put their stuff down. Then work around them. And I know that sounds kind of wild, but I feel like that's just how it's done. You know what I mean? From my experience and people that I've worked with and people that I know, like vocals are first and you work around them. A good example is like Frank Delgado, you know, from the Deftones. Like he'll sprinkle his stuff in at the end, at the very, very end. And so, you know, that's kind of something to think about. Like as songwriters, we're putting all this stuff in at once, but we need to put this all in at once with the potential that it's either going to be very low or it's going to be muted, because you're going to potentially, like the singer needs room to do things as well. And if you're taking up all the notes, it's going to be harder for them to fit in, unless they're like screaming, then like all that's out the window. And so that's something to think about. And I think by using this, doing it this way, by having like some vocals, again, if you don't have a vocalist, finding vocal samples, so then you could put it in there, so then you understand like, oh yeah, like this is not that important. Like all these layers here, you weren't listening to these layers. You were listening to these vocals, maybe the drums, and maybe what the guitars were doing, but even those were low. And so hopefully this kind of gives you perspective on like, try not to overthink crap. Don't overthink your writing process. Start simple, bring your vocalists in, let them do your thing, put the icing on the cake, which is, again, this stuff here, your ARPs, your pads, blah, 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 you know? For me, I love having pads. All this stuff gives me inspiration when I write, and so it helps me a ton to have all this already in there. But again, don't get married to it. You know, you may have to either mute or bring this ARP really low, because if you listen, if from the beginning into this, a lot of things are lower. Put that center on that. Okay, so you can see, you know, once the vocals are in, I'm bringing this stuff down because it's not important. It's just filler. It's a filler, you know, because the vocals are supposed to shine here, you know. Even like another good example is like when you have like a lead guitar, you're gonna bring some things down to let the guitar shine. You know what I mean? So it's a good example. How where the F did you get the vocals? That's exactly what I was talking about. So these are some samples I found online. I think it's like oh, I don't remember what it was called, like Black Octopus or something. They have a lot of cool vocal samples, and what's cool is they come in like the way that they're organized, you know. Let me see. Where is it at? Vocal samples. So I bought this pack, Black Octopus Sound. It comes with a few sounds in different keys, and so I plan on using her for different things. The only thing, which is not a huge deal, is there's only 2 songs that I got, or 2 tracks that I got that were in minor, and I prefer to write in minor. And so what I'll need to do is, you know, if I find some vocals that I like, for example, these top lines, which this was actually the one that I used. So this was originally A sharp, and this song is in G sharp. And so, you know, actually, I'm sorry, this one, A minor. And so you'll be able to hear, I didn't do a ton different. Wait, there it is. The only thing that I messed with was the timing, and then I went down 1 cent. Again, because it's in A minor, I needed to go to G sharp minor. And so that's really the only thing I did. And then we have some ad libs here, which really help out. Oops. And so, you know, being able to sprinkle those in. The harmonies are the chorus, basically. But what's really cool is the top lines, the verses. There's verses. I caught up in it. I couldn't resist. Not to... And so it's like, you know, again, I had to bring it down, mess with the timing to fit my song. But if you watch last video, which I'm going to title these differently just so, you know, it makes a lot more sense. And so if you're watching this a little bit later, chances are you'll be able to kind of differentiate. Yes. So for me, in here, semitone. Yeah, I think you are right. I call them cents. I don't know where I got that from. Maybe like using Fruity Loops or something a long time ago. But yes, 1 semitone, -1 semitone. Thank you for that correction. But again, chances are if you're watching this video a little bit later, you're probably here because of the title. And so, you know, you'll probably see the title before this. It's kind of me going over the process of how I went about doing this. It's a little tedious, but you don't always have to do this. It really just depends on the type of samples that you find or you buy or whatever. Chances are you're going to be able to just find it and like throw it in. It's going to be good. But I like doing it this way because you kind of like make it your own in a way. And so it's really cool, especially like these little things here. I really feel like I wouldn't be able to get away with so much room in these tracks or in the song if I didn't have these cool little things here, you know? And so, just to give you something to think about and another tool for your tool belt of, trying to figure out things to write. Hopefully, for some of you who have never done this before, hopefully this gets you excited enough to, want us to write a song so you can do this. Or you have a song that you wish had vocals on it, it's going to get you back in your DAW. That's what I want, get back in your DAW and mess around, have fun, because that's what that is. And try not to get too frustrated because this took a little bit to get right, but just don't give up and just keep trying, and if it gets too far and you start, let's say, a good example or a good analogy is like unraveling cables. The next thing you know, you're just like, there's another knot, you're just like, okay, let me just like, then come back to it, and so again, don't get discouraged. um but yeah, I mean, I can go through this mix and show you what I did, but what's cool is like this is a template that you can get from my Patreon. And speaking of, I got someone who subscribed to the Patreon. We have our first Patreon, which is really awesome. Let me see if I can shout the homie out. Let's see. Oh, okay. So our newest member is JJ. So thank you, JJ. Appreciate you for joining the Patreon. Looks like we have Citizen Cloud joined as a free member. And it looked like Peter Sassy joined as a free member, became a member, and then 5 days ago canceled. So maybe he got what he needed, which, it's all good. But yeah, I do have a Patreon. And so I'll be trying to fill that up a lot more. I was actually thinking about that today. What I can go about using. Like this template that I'm using right here, it's this here. And so if you have Ableton 11, you're going to be able to use this. Now, the thing is, I didn't remove any plugins. So everything that I use is in there. And so chances are, if you don't have some of these plugins, then you're going to get some errors. But, you can work around that. Oh, yeah, speaking of the Patreon stuff, just kind of wanted to show you really quick since this is kind of like done, and then we could start working on something something else. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Sometimes you just need a half hour of Cyberpunk, then come back. Exactly, dude. The issue is when you end up playing Cyberpunk for 5 Dude, here's the thing is like the music in that game is so good that you may come back inspired to try and write like that. And I'm just speaking from my own experience, dude, because oh man, when you get into fight, you almost want to get into firefights because it's like it's so freaking good. You know what I mean? Oh wait, look at that. Dude, Rambolo, that's what it is. Dude, I didn't even notice that you redeemed your song choice, bro. This is disgusting. I love that so much, dude. And I'm sorry that it took me a minute to realize that. Oof, Thornhill, let's go. I would love to, man. I love Thornhill so much. And it would be really fun to dive into how they go about writing their stuff. Thank you for redeeming that, dude. That's something that I've wanted to try and dive into. And so you're really giving me an excuse. And, let me see what you said. Okay, Darkpool album. That's a really good album. Darkpool album. All right, so that is in the queue. So we have Collins next, which I'm not going to lie to you is going to be very difficult for me. And I might have to talk to him about that. I may be hitting you up, dude. The Darkpool album is insane. I draw so much inspiration from that. What's Collins? Collins is 311. Transistor. But I kind of, again, I wanted to talk to him about that. And it has to kind of do with the channel as a whole. And so we'll chat, homie. We'll chat. But so some things that I wanted to try and maybe I should end this video now on YouTube and we can talk about it on Twitch because I feel like this is actually a good size here. I don't want this one to be too long because I feel like this has a lot of value, and sometimes I feel like if people see that this is a really long video, then they may not click on it. You know what I mean? Oh, wow. Look at Empyrean song choice. Let's go, dude. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the YouTube video for now. If you want to come hang out with us over on Twitch, it's just twitch.tv/ChrisBadan. But honestly, what I may do is if I come up with another topic, I'm trying to really keep these YouTube videos short so they're enticing to watch, and it's not just like a 4-hour live stream, you know, because I've tried this and sometimes it works. But a lot of times I feel like, you know, if I can make them a little bit more digestible, it seems like the ones that are around an hour are doing well. And so, yeah, I can actually just kind of show you. So like some of the 3-hour stuff, but the North Lane stuff is kind of different. This one is doing fairly well. 2 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours. So it really depends. Like this one here is an hour, almost 2 hours, and it's 800 views. 2.5 hours, almost 1,000 views. And so it's like trying to find the balance. And so if you'll just bear with me on that whole front. But Colin kind of really put into my brain like starting and stopping depending on if we're covering a cool topic. And so yeah, let me see here. We do have some homies in there though. I don't want to leave them hanging. You're gonna hear this. You're gonna hear my video though. Oh no, maybe not sick. Yeah, so we do have some homies over there. I'll stick around for a little bit longer. Because again, retention is a big thing too. Retention is such a crazy thing. Queuing went up after you're gonna be busy. Oh, textures. Oh, bro. I was worried that like you were gonna do something like that. I'm gonna need your help, man, because those dudes, oof, their stuff is so. It's like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I think you know why. Because they're just so they're so great, man. Song choice. These are going to be so fun though, dude. I'm so glad that someone discovered. I think Amber was the first one to discover this, and now people are redeeming them, and I'm so pumped about it. So, I mean, for me, like my favorite songs are like "Reaching Home," "Messenger." "Awake" is up there just because it was the first one that I heard. "Burning the Midnight Oil." What else? I mean, there's so many. There's so many. There's so many. Yeah, I'm so down, dude. Okay. Let's do it. I'm excited. You know what? I think I am going to stop the YouTube for now. All right, homies. I'm going to hop over to Twitch. But you'll see me on the next video. You know, I'll be back either tomorrow or the next day with a new video.